in our case, C by D value comes out to be 1.33, which is less than square root of 2. So square root of 2 value is 1.414. So C by D value is calculated C by D value or actual C by D value is less than square root of 2. Hence, from that clause, that is clause 8.7.2.4, the value of IS has to be greater than 1.5 d cube tw cube by c square. So substituting all these terms, you will get IS value as 168.75 into 10 power 4. Now everyone knows that in the case of plate girder without intermediate stiffness, from clause 8.7.1.2, that clause, that is 8.7.1.2, is used to determine how much width this stiffener should have. So that is determined from clause 8.7.1.2. So in that clause actually there are two main provisions, that is one is maximum permissible outstand and the other one is maximum effective outstand. Now the maximum permissible outstand value is 20 TQ, where TQ is the thickness of the web and maximum effective outstand is 14 TQ. Now the total width of the stiffener is dependent on the value of maximum effective outstand, which is 14 TQ epsilon. So the value of thickness of web is 10. So the maximum value of the width of the intermediate stiffener should be 140 mm. Okay, so we are assuming a value which is less than 140 mm. So let us try 110 by 12 mm flat, a single transverse stiffener. Now the point to be noted is, what is single transverse stiffener? Now you know that in a plate girder there is a web, so there are two sides, one is on the left side, the other is on the right side. So if on the left side of the web we are placing the flat, then that is known as single transverse stiffener. So only on one side if you are placing, that is single transverse stiffener. Now if you look at the clause 8.7.2.4, it is giving the condition for single transverse stiffener. So here you can see minimum stiffeners, transverse web stiffeners not subjected to external loads or moments should have second moment of inertia IS about the center line of the web if stiffeners are on both sides of the web and about the face of the web. If single stiffener on only one side of the web is used, such that now here it is given if this condition is used only if stiffeners are provided on one side, then if C by D ratio greater than root 2, use these formulas. So these formulas are applicable for single stiffeners. Okay, now I have shown in the diagram. Now you need to calculate IS. Now IS, as we have done in the previous question, it is IX. So how you calculate IX? The XX axis passing through the web, the center of the web, that is XX axis. So you have to calculate moment of inertia about XX axis. So in the left side I have shown the cross section. So you can see 110 by 12, that is transverse stiffeners, and there is a web and there is a XX axis. So IX will be BD cube by 12, and as I have already mentioned, the dimension 110 is perpendicular to the X axis, so it is BD cube by 12. In that term the D will be 110, so 12 into 110 cube by 12, BD cube by 12 plus area 12 into 110 into 110 by 2 plus 10 by 2 whole square. What is 10? 10 is the thickness of the web. Okay, so the value of IX comes out to be 532.4 into 10 power 4 mm power 4. Now this value of IX is greater than the calculated value, that is 1.5 d cube tw cube by c square. Okay, so hence our condition, that is hence our assumption of the dimension, that is 110 by 12 mm flat, is correct. Now check for web buckling of the stiffener. Now this intermediate stiffness dimension is already selected. Now we have to check whether it is safe for buckling. Now for that you have to use clause 8.7.2.5. okay, so this is clause 8.7.2.5. you can see there is a formula for FQ. FQ equals V minus VCR by gamma m naught less than or equal to FQD. So what is FQ? FQ is the strength of the stiffener in buckling. So FQ should be less than or equal to FQD. So FQD is the design resistance of intermediate stiffener. So FQD is actually obtained by multiplying area with FCD. So FQ is a term that determines the buckling strength of a stiffener. Now what is FQ? V minus VCR by gamma m naught. So VCR is the value that is obtained by simple post critical method. Now what is V? V is the shear force adjacent to the stiffener, factor shear force adjacent to the stiffener. So how you calculate factor shear force adjacent to the stiffener? So how you calculate factor shear force adjacent to the stiffener? You know that you have to calculate the shear force at a section which is near to the transverse intermediate stiffener. So you can see in this diagram at the leftmost corner there is a support. So at the support V equals WL by 2. So everyone should know that for a simply supported beam carrying UDL, the support reaction is WL by 2. Okay, so support reaction is acting upward. Now this support reaction is acting on the end bearing stiffener. Okay, so end bearing stiffener is directly supported on the supports. Now there is intermediate stiffness, as you can see. So intermediate stiffness are placed at a distance C. Now our objective is to find the shear force at the distance C equals 2666.7. Now what is the total shear force that is carried by the stiffener? It will be WC by 2. So everyone knows that if UDL W is acting at a distance x, then the shear force is W into x. But here the transverse, each of the transverse stiffeners will carry the load equally. So on the that is not equally, actually on the left side of the transverse stiffener half of the load is carried, and on the right side half of the load is carried. So if Wx is the total shear force at a distance x, or if Wc is the total shear force that is at a distance c between the transverse stiffness, Wc by 2 will be the total shear force acting at one side. So factored shear force at distance dc adjacent to the intermediate stiffener is V equals WL by 2 minus WC by 2. Now this WC by 2 is acting in downward direction, WL by 2 is acting in upward direction. Okay, half the load will be carried by each end. Now the transverse stiffness, intermediate transverse stiffness, on the left side WC by 2 and on the right side WC by 2. So that is total WC. So V equals WL by 2, that is maximum shear force. Okay, maximum shear force that is calculated 1908. Okay, WL by 2 that is 1908, and minus WC by 2. W is 159. Okay, C 159 is the total value of load that is calculated in the first problem. Okay, now you calculated V, then you know VCR. VCR is nothing but the value obtained from shear capacity of web, which is 686.9. Now V minus VCR by gamma m naught, you got the value of FQ. Now you need to calculate FQD from clause 8.7.2.5. FQ equals V minus VCR by gamma m naught less than or equal to FQD. Now what is FQD? FQD is the load carrying capacity of the stiffener. So how you calculate load carrying capacity? So if you remember while you design the end bearing stiffener, you have used this concept, that is what is the maximum permissible outstand that you need to consider while calculating the finding out the buckling strength. that is maximum permissible outstand is 20 TQ. So from the midpoint of the intermediate stiffener on each side 20 TQ will be the outstand, so that portion has to be considered. Okay, so that is the shaded region in this figure is the total area that is needs to be calculated for finding buckling strength. Now area equals it will be 110 into 12. What is 110 into 12? That is the cross sectional area of the intermediate stiffener plus 2 into 200 into 10. Now 200 into 10. What is 200 into 10? 200 is the total length on along the direction of web. So 2 into 200 on both sides. That's why 2 into 10. 10 is thickness. So that is total area. Now R for the stiffener is square root of I by A E. So Ix value is calculated in the previous step, 532.4 into 10 power 4. So Ix by AE, that is 5320. Now after calculating R, calculate lambda. Lambda equals KL by R. So what is KL? 0.7 into D. What is D? Depth of the web. So KL by R, you will get lambda. Then from table 9C you have to interpolate. So you will get FCD as 191.6. Now FQD equals area into FCD. Okay, so FQD is greater than FQ, so the condition is satisfied.